Welcome to a brief video of Fancort's new CL-100 Depaneler for separating printed circuit boards from one-sided metallized panels, commonly referred to as LED panels. This Depaneler is designed for boards that are typically longer in length, usually in the 20 to 48 inch range, which is common for LED panels. The design of this machine makes it unique in that it quickly separates the boards, and by using 3 sets of blades to separate in stages, there is minimal wear on the blades and less stress on the boards. The CL-100 is capable of separating panels from 0.8 mm to approximately 3.3 mm thickness. FR4 material panels can be processed on this Depaneler. However, most FR4 panels are double-sided and would not be a good candidate for separation using the CL-100. Fancort has other Depanelers that would be a better choice for FR4 applications. Let's look at the key features. This Depaneler uses 3 sets of round blades to separate the boards. The bottom blades are fixed and electrically driven to capture the panel score line and drive the panel sequentially through the 3 sets of blades to separate the individual printed circuit boards. The speed of the blades can be adjusted so the separation can be quicker or slower depending upon the application. A guide bar is mounted on the surface of the Depaneler, where the panels are loaded on the front side of the blades. The guide bar location can be adjusted and set on the table to the exact width of the individual printed circuit boards, so the operator can position the edge of the panel against it, and the guide will facilitate quick alignment of the score lines into the first set of blades. The CL-100 also has a loading table or area in front of the blades and a landing table or area after the blades. These areas are long enough so the panel does not hang off the Depaneler before and after singulation. Let's look at how to set up the machine. First, the center platform or stage where the blades are located is adjusted to a height to allow the first bottom blade to engage a score line so it can drive the panel toward and through the second and third sets of blades. This is done by adjusting the hex nuts on the 4 posts on the underside of the center platform to raise or lower the platform in relation to the tips of the lower blades. The optimum setup is to adjust the platform until the lower blade tips or edges are seated well into the underside score line on the panel. When the panel starts to slightly lift off the center platform surface during the center platform adjustment, this is an indication that the lower blade tip has engaged the score line and is seated properly in the underside of the score line. For panels that are on the high end of the panel thickness, specifically 2.5 millimeters thickness or more, the center platform will need to be lowered to expose more of the lower blade tips to reach and engage the deeper underside score line. Once you've set the center platform height to engage the lower blades into the score line, the loading and landing tables should be assembled and set up in line with the center platform and the height adjusted to match. Then the guide bar should be set up. The guide bar is set so that the panel edge can bear against it and assist the operator in loading the score line straight into the tips of the first blade set. This is done by moving and adjusting the bar in the slots located in the loading table to the width of the individual printed circuit board being singulated. Underneath the table there are 2 T-shaped knobs that can be loosened to move the guide bar and tighten once the guide bar is adjusted in place to the width of the printed circuit boards being singulated. The last step in setup is to set the upper blades, which are set using the 3 height adjustment knobs on top of the Depaneler. There is a locking knob on each blade that must be loosened prior to adjusting the heights of the 3 upper blades. The bottom blades are fixed. The upper blade tips are adjusted in relation to each lower blade. The goal is to have each set of blades process or perform a part of the separation or singulation of the board along the score line. Although every panel design is different, whether the same panel thickness or not, a panel may or may not require different upper blade adjustments. The main principle in setting the upper blade tips in relation to the lower blades is the following. The first set of blades are adjusted so that they will snugly receive the score line and drive the panel through to the second blade set. To achieve this, the first set of blade tips are adjusted to where they do not hit or overlap each other. The second set of blades are adjusted slightly lower, with a slight tip overlap to continue the separation along the score line. The third set of blades are then adjusted with more overlap to continue the process and then finish with a singulated board. Trial and error of the upper blade settings may be required to find the optimal position for all three blades to achieve singulation with minimal wear and stress to the boards. Let's see the operation of the CL-100. Once the center platform is set, guide bar position and locked, and upper blade height adjustments completed, you are ready to singulate panels. First, slide the score line to the first set of blades, making sure the blade tips start to engage the score line. Once the score line is engaged, press the foot pedal and the panel will begin to drive through the blades while the PCB is being separated. The foot pedal must be depressed through the entire cycle or the blades will stop moving. If for some reason the cycle needs to be stopped or the operator is not satisfied with the operation, the cycle can be stopped simply by stepping off the foot pedal. This concludes Fancourt's presentation of the CL-100 scoreboard depaneler. For further information or quote on this or any of Fancourt's scored or tabbed panel depaneling equipment, contact Steve Hoover at shoover@fancourt.com or 973-575-0610 extension 223.